Welcome into the PHNX Rising Podcast. I am Max Simpson. This is Mr. Owen Evans. To quote
You seem
Ron,
really
to quote,
confused there.
to quote Ron, I am confused because to quote Ron Burgundy, I am in a glass case of emotion, but I also don't want to quote Ron Burgundy because that's giving way too much praise to San Diego. But then again, maybe it's justified after what we saw. There's lots to get into. I believe you are over 4 feet tall, so you are tall enough to ride this emotional roller coaster that we just witnessed out there. Buddy, what did we just watch? What just happened?
We watched the game.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we watched the game. We watched PHNX Rising come out in front of over 10,000 people. The biggest attendance this club has ever had. I believe it was 10,400 and something that were here.
10,437 if memory serves me correctly.
Okay, there we go. I'm trusting Max on that one. Far be it from me normally to trust Max.
Fair.
Yeah, we saw a large crowd come out here. We saw a PHNX Rising team that battled, and I think that's the key thing here, right? We've seen teams in the past with PHNX Rising. We've seen them come out last season in particular, and at times it felt as though they just weren't in it. Today they battled. Now, were they the better team? Did they deserve more than a point? Those are valid questions. But at the end of the day, they went out there. They put it all on the line. You even saw after the game when they walk around, they did an entire lap of the stadium, clapping all of the fans that came out today. And while it may not be the result that we would have wanted to see, I think that as a whole, today goes down as a very big day for this club.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, the result, albeit it's still a point, which is a positive one in a sense, especially given how the team has grown further into each game that they've played. Again, you saw the first match against Charleston Battery where they had to come from behind and steal a point. Then you see the game against the first game against San Diego Loyal, where they really played a fantastic match, but the scoreline did not reflect that 3-0 defeat. And then this one, they go up 35 minutes in on a Manuel Arteaga tap-in that, I mean, listen, we saw what he did. He totally and epically redeemed himself from a one-on-one shot. Producer Jacob, if we can have the clip there of the missed shots that we can pull up from there on the end line. But yeah, you will see, right, just kind of a bit of a sitter, went a little bit wide. Yes, fantastic video work from myself, of course. No, but it was interesting.
Max, don't pat yourself on the back too.
We're already getting started. No, but it was interesting how he grew into this game just like the rest of the team did, and you're going into halftime with a 1-0 lead, and you're I'm feeling fantastic. We're feeling great.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that PHNX Rising deserved the 1-0.
I don't think they did either.
I think that San Diego Loyal were probably the more threatening team.
They dominated possession the entire first half. Don't get me wrong.
PHNX Rising missed a couple of chances there. They probably should have put away. In the first half. Manuel Arteaga guilty of that himself, actually. One that you look at and say, you got to put it on target. If it doesn't go in the back of the net, fine. But you have to challenge the goalkeeper. In fact, at one point then, someone turned around to me and said, if he ain't going to put that in, he ain't putting anything in. Well, that's not quite how it turned out. He did, of course, get the goal in the first half and the goal in the second half as well. But, yeah, I feel as though, in a lot of ways, this feels almost like if Rising had come away with a 2-0 win today, I think it would have felt in some ways not a full inverse of the game in San Diego. Because I don't think that it was quite as strongly against the run of play as we saw some of those San Diego goals come in Torero Stadium. But it would have felt like it was almost like a slight mirror image of what had happened previously.
It was. And it was, it's a game where the team continues to grow into it. The first 20, 25 minutes, it felt like it was all a loyal possession that Rising really just couldn't grow into the game. But really, that goal changed things completely, as goals often do. It's very difficult to score in this league. And coming from a guy who, I mean, again, listen, it's been criticized in the chat, have been criticized by the fan base, but he was in the right place at the right time, and not one, but both goals. And he scores, in the 63rd minute of the second half. And you're thinking, okay, Rising has a 2-0 lead. And at that point, I think it is deserved, because even though they did not have the better first half, in my opinion, they had the best tail end of the first half and the best start to the second half. They dominated that game for a solid 30, 40 minutes in the middle there.
They did, and it was actually something that Juan Guerra pointed out in his post-game press conference, right? We were talking about his overall reaction to the match, and he said he was bothered, not worried.
Yeah.
Okay, he was bothered because what he was seeing was moments of very good play, but they need to make those moments last longer. They need to drag them out and put in a much longer body of work, of that kind of quality that we see in those moments. Now, the problem is, I mean, he kind of pinpointed, well, could be a variety of things. He's going to have to wait until he looks and watches the video back and tries to work out where things quite went wrong. But just naivety at times that this team tends to display. And that's kind of, as we move on now to talk about those goals conceded, where that starts to kick in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like we mentioned, Manuel Arteaga grabbing his brace in the 63rd minute, cruising for a bit, and then you have the Nick Moon goal in the 72nd minute. And, you know, that was one where even after that scored, at least from my feeling, while it definitely has that bit of the atmosphere, and we felt it a bit of, okay, you know, the wind got sucked out a little bit, but the team's still rolling, the energy's still there, it's a packed house. And we were thinking, okay, we're doing okay. Did you have the same feeling on your end? Because you were down at pitch level at that point.
Yeah, I believe at that point I tweeted, "We're in for a nervy finish." And I think that unfortunately proved right. Look, it's hard. It doesn't matter what you think about having the crowd behind you, about having all that. And I will say that I'll touch on the crowd a little bit later on. I think about, especially at the final whistle. But I just feel as though you're always in for a nervy finish. When you go up 2-0, you think, okay, you start to cruise a little bit. They get the goal back in. As soon as they get that goal back in, as soon as they smell blood, especially a team with the talent that San Diego Loyal has, you're going to be in for trouble. Look, the only teams that San Diego Loyal mind have been able to score more than one goal against, it's Phoenix Rising. And I know they've only played 3 teams, of which Phoenix Rising is one. But they scored 1 goal against Detroit City, Detroit City, let's be perfectly honest, they're a borderline playoff team. And they failed to score in Sacramento. And Sacramento, obviously, with a massive win today, and we'll talk about that one later. But it is a little bit of a concern, I think, there, the sloppiness. I mean, conversely, no one scored more than 1 goal against San Diego Loyal. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's what my my high school soccer coach said growing up is 2-0 is the most dangerous lead in this sport. Because it is the cliche because it's not enough to feel comfortable, but it's also, you know, just enough to where you can crawl back into it. And I will say, like, that ball that Loyal played in, I mean, goodness gracious, it's cutting in at the end line, and he split 5 Rising defenders. That was a pinpoint pass, laid on perfectly, and then swung across, found him at the back post. 8 minutes later, Ronaldo Damus, who, my word, has been a thorn in the side for Rising already in these 2 matches. Good thing we don't have to face him for, we'll see how that goes the rest of the season. But yes, at least we're done.
Playoffs, or it could be later in the Open.
Correct. At least that we know of, we do not have to face him anymore. But he scored. I mean, you watch that goal, and I was in the corner here. Very difficult to see. You see it a bit on broadcast. He just kind of squeaked it in there. There was 3 chances from 6 yards or closer. Players tried to clear it, wasn't able to get cleared. It snuck in, and just you're thinking, how does that ball go in? And that's how the sport works. Just happens.
It is, but I mean, we also have to bear in mind that Rising had a couple of tap-ins in there as well. So look, the little scrappy play at either end, both teams kind of taking advantage of those moments where they can get a shot from pretty close range. So, and it. Let's talk about the way that game ended. After that, a little bit, we can talk about it, because I know that some of our chat have been talking about this now with VAR level stuff. Well, VAR comes in, that was on the 1 goal. There's also talking here about the referee having a particularly bad game. We'll dig into a little bit of this, because obviously Juan got quite animated at the end of the game. We saw that he picked up a yellow card. One of his coaching staff also picked up a yellow card there. The way he kind of described that in the post game was that he looked at it as though, well, the first 16 minutes of the game, he turns to the 4th official and says, we haven't had a foul yet. And the way that Juan was putting it was, look, we've got 4 officials out there. some of the others need to speak up on some of those plays.
Yeah.
Now, a large part of that really, really agitated people was a penalty shout potentially for Carlos Harvey. Happened right behind us, right by here. Gets the ball up to the byline. Looks as though he's kind of shielding it, trying to keep it in play. San Diego Law player comes in from behind, pretty much knocks him flying, gives him a little kick as well by the looks. And ultimately, the referee's decision there was a corner. Now, a lot of people are talking about, and a lot of people will talk, about what was going through the referee's mind. We tried to delve into that.
Yep.
I will ask now, actually, we have got the question. I submitted a poll question to the referee here. It's very precise here. We have to be precise on these. Trying to work out, is he saying that the defender actually made contact with the ball? Is he saying that the ball had already crossed the line when that contact occurs, meaning that a foul can't take place? Misconduct can take place, but not a foul. Mm-hmm. Or is he saying that the contact otherwise did not rise to the level of a foul? The referee declined to comment, actually, is the response we got back. However, he did confirm that Carlos Harvey was cautioned for dissent.
Yeah.
So he declined to comment on the poll question. And that's, yeah.
It's especially after that second Loyal goal came in. I mean, the energy, if it wasn't already ratcheted up to a notch, that really just put this match absolutely over the edge. The crowd was in a frenzy. I hadn't, Juan Guerra, he was carded. Coach, I did not see who it was, but another member of the coaching staff was also received a yellow card. It's just one of those games where, at that point, man, you're just hanging on and trying to salvage the point.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. I think that actually talking about the crowd, actually, that's a good kind of lead in for something that I wanted to say. And this one goes out to the crowd. Now, look, the crowd coming out in numbers, fantastic. I will say, though, be wary. I don't know quite what the message is when people are booing sometimes. You have to bear in mind that at times when your team concedes a goal, you go 2-1 down and you have very loud boos. Who are you booing there? And what message are you giving to your own players? In that kind of position, really, you should be trying to get behind your players. You're trying to lift them up. You're trying to push them on to get that final, just hold on to the lead that they've deserved to that point.
Yeah.
Booing at that point to me feels odd. I'd also say that booing at the final whistle, again, it feels like a comment on the players. Now, that may not be what people think.
It might be the refereeing, might be other players on Loyal.
In most times, when you boo at the final whistle, unless an incident has happened immediately prior,
agreed,
you are booing the team.
Agreed.
And the team did not deserve that today.
No.
I think any stretch of imagination. I don't think the crowd intended for that to be the kind of message.
Right.
But it is how it can feel on the field level. Yeah. So just try and bear that one in mind, because it's not great. It's not great. I mean, there's the one comment there, where was it? People were booing, couldn't hear it from the South End. The South End bring it all game, right? None of that's coming out of the South End. We know that for sure.
It definitely heard it on the north. Definitely heard on the North End when we were
back in the place. Yep. But when you are at the North End, and you hear it coming in, it's not just coming out the North End. It's coming from the touch lines as well. You do have to kind of just, guys, stop, think.
Yeah.
Those players didn't deserve to be booed, and while you may be thinking you're booing the referee, it's not how it comes across.
Agree. I mean, if we can pull up the visual of the crowd and the three shots, I mean, this was after the second goal, and it might be a little difficult to see here, but I mean, you see this capacity crowd, and especially on the top left and the bottom shots, people are lined up, standing room only at the top of this section, and it's one of those things. I'm echoing Owen's point. The crowd can absolutely back these players, and by golly, they did after both of those goals. But man, regardless of who it was aimed at in that moment, you got to lift your team up. And yes, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I get how it's kind of tough to really see if they're pointing at anyone but the players. But regardless, whether you're trying to boo the refs or the situation or whatever, you need to will your team on. And you gotta, like, regardless of how you feel, okay, get pissed in the moment, whatever, and then come on, lads, let's go. Let's finish strong. Let's get a goal. Let's hold the lead, hold the draw, whatever. Like, that's what we need the response for.
Right. You go anywhere else in the world, what's the job of a crowd? What's the job of the football fans? The job of the football fans is to push their team onwards. It is to get those boys up, and it is to make sure they get over the line. if you're coming just to boo the referee, I mean,
there's some questionable calls. Like there's some questionable calls, some questionable no calls. Like we understand that a lot of this impacted the game, and like listen, we understand people are upset, as you should be. I guess it's just yes, like in the moment, and this is where human emotion and passion takes over. Where do you channel that? And it's an interesting platform that we have, right? Because we exist for the fans. We tell this unbiasedly. We're able to give that perspective, and yet this is not trying to bash the fans or turn on the people who support the team. It's rather trying to galvanize and unite people of like, we all support the same people. We all want the same end result. And that's kind of what we're getting at. So I want to make sure it's not taking shots back at people. It's just let's think about where we're coming from here.
Yeah. And especially in moments, right? After the game, okay, fine. But after the first goal, the boys needed the encouragement, I think.
100%. Well, let's get into the stats of the game. A little bit of a breakdown of what we had. So, right, 2-2 possession. Pretty, relatively even. Again, it's kind of a tale of two. Really, if you split this game into quarters, Loyal had the first 20, 25 minutes. Rising had the next 40 minutes, the last first 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes of the first half and the first 20 minutes of the second half. And then Loyal really was just dominating possession by the end. So kind of even throughout. Shots, pretty equal there. As you can see, again, more shots on target for Rising. Couple different chances there at the end and just a tough go of it. I mean, a 2-2 draw. I think when I look at this game as a whole, tough result, and you definitely want to see the win, but I think it's a fair one. If I think, yes, there could have been calls given, but I don't know. I think if you look at the from the beginning of the end, I'm not surprised, I guess.
No. Yeah. I tend to agree overall. I think a draw was fair.
Draw is fair. Draw is fair. Well, we want to touch on the top players, the atmosphere, and get into that. First, I want to shout out because I had a really cool meeting with them. What was it? Yesterday. We are 1 month in officially today with our partnership with Circle K. So absolutely love them. It's fantastic seeing them here at the stadium. They are proud partners with the team as well. Thank you, everyone who did the text to win in the first month of partnership. If you have opted into that, they're going to be rewarding you with, stuff like free Polar Pops and free whatnot. I don't want to give too much away, but just keep on the lookout for that because it's really cool stuff. And they're going to be doing more promos. So if you didn't get a chance to text to win before, you're still going to have that opportunity. So thank you guys for supporting Circle K because we support them. And when you're not missing out on all the great things they have going on with the snacks, we're going to be doing a lot of snacks, getting more of that in the office. Be stocked up all April long now, and head to circlek.com/store-locator. Again, circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you with everything going on. We also want to shout out our friends at Four Peaks. Thank you for those of us who joined us last Wednesday for all the last Wednesdays that we do there. Lots of good stuff going on. We are going to be hosting our NFL Draft Day live there at their 8th Street Pub. Cardinals have the third pick, a new coach, new GM. You guys already know it's a massive moment for another footballing franchise, different type of football.
Best type of football, but we'll let it slide.
That's what he said. Fair. The best place to take in the moment is again at their 8th Street Pub on April 27th. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy responsibly, but anyone can come to the pub for that moment. All right. Top performers.
Actually, no. I'll take a couple of questions. Actually, it's a couple of questions in
here.
We
got super chat.
We also got a super chat here from Kiresh.
Dude,
I love a free whatnot.
Dude. Oh yeah. Free. I do. I give out free whatnots. I don't know what that means. But hey, I'll give you a free one. Sure. Yeah.
He signed up for something there.
I got something. I know. My brain's frazzled. A lot just happened.
No, some actual questions from the chat. People were asking Danny Trejo, Darnell King about their absences. You do actually have an answer on that.
Yep.
So Danny Trejo, some kind of setback in the last 2 weeks. Don't have the full details on that, unfortunately. I don't have a huge amount of detail on Darnell King's absence either, besides the fact that both should still be available on Wednesday, is what Juan said in the post game, that both Danny Trejo and Darnell King should be available for selection on Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is something I got side on that. I think this is something I lamented to you. I'm like, man, that first half could have used a bit of Danny Trejo, but
Could have.
Here we are.
I mean, the game as a whole,
He's
a very talented player, and what he can bring to the attack.
It's not to overconflate one player's abilities, but I think they were missing a bit of that creativity link up, especially in the first 20 minutes or so. But we do have to shout out some of the positives from today, and I think it is a low hanging fruit, but it makes sense. A player of the game. It's a pretty obvious one. It is Manuel Arteaga. And
look at the energy there.
I did not think that we would be saying that after that miss that we showed earlier. It was that was tough. Honestly, it was tough. He had a kind of closed down his own angle, shot across his body, went wide. But listen, the guy, both his goals was being in the right place, right time. First one was just a classic, outside the 6, and the second one, you're just following up a rebound, poacher goal. I love those. And you got to be in the right place. You got to be in those positions to score. I also think he had really good positional awareness, much stronger on the ball, it seemed like, than the last game against San Diego. And you saw it. He fed off the energy of this crowd.
Look, and I loathe to say this because Max is going to throw this back at me every time that we bring up a certain Mr. Harry Kane. But the one thing about tap-ins is that you have to be in the right place to get them.
It's almost
a good
like,
striker gets into good positions to get those goals. So he was getting in the right positions for those goals. That's the thing. As easy as they might look, and actually the one I think was a little bit, he had to reach quite a bit.
Yeah, he had
he was reaching for a long way.
One up here,
we actually got I got a good photo of that. I'll post that on Twitter.
Kind of just hit my hurt flexor doing that. Don't do that. Ow.
Yeah, I've been stretching my legs here, and I'm just afraid I'm going to go down with cramp in a second. But but you've got to be in the right spots, and that's the challenge. The challenge is getting in the right spots so that your teammates can actually get you the ball.
Yeah.
Now, we've said that in the past that we found that Arteaga sometimes he isn't quite as advanced. He isn't getting quite into those places that you want him to as a centre forward. If he's going to be the guy that's scoring goals, we want him in the penalty area. We want him in places where he is going to be a menace for that defence. And he hasn't been doing it so much sometimes in those previous games. But today, the 2 tap-ins of sorts...
It's a low-hanging fruit. I get that it's polarizing. Do we expect, he's maybe not going to deliver this performance all the time, but you get on a score sheet, especially early on. That to me is a no-brainer. I see a lot of other people shouting out someone who we both said it. I think Uzo. Fantastic match, not just with that first assist on that first goal to open the scoring, but really, you just saw, I think, something that was lacking first time out we saw him a bit, just not just the pace, which we know he has, but the physicality. My word, so many times where he's got someone nipping at his heels, tugging on his shirt, and he just gives him a little arm, or bam, he's getting to the end line, cuts it back, and loses the defender. I loved his play, and he's just so, I'm going to quote a Bon Jovi album, slippery when wet, because that man had some drip tonight with all those moves he was putting down. You like that one?
I tell you what, the thing about Uzo, though, seriously, is I think this is a guy you don't want to mess with.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy who is very, very happy to play a physical, dogged kind of game.
Yeah.
As well.
Yes.
And he's not going to lose that battle.
No.
He will not ever stand down from that kind of a fight. We actually, I saw that in one of the preseason games, the first preseason game against GCU.
Yeah. This
preseason. He definitely got into a little bit of verbals, let's say, with one of the GCU players and use some words that I'm going to choose not to repeat.
Fair.
But he's not the kind of guy who backs down from that. And I think that's what you want to see. I think that's what, look, to an extent, the fans really want to see that as well. And I mean, not only that, you're seeing the technique from him, you're seeing the technical ability, as we saw on that assist. Yeah. The first goal at this stadium at 38th Street and Washington.
Yep.
I'm liking what I'm seeing. And the best part about it, actually, is you got Eddie Manjoma kind of like snapping at his heels as well to try and get in the team.
Yeah.
And Eddie Manjoma comes in with rave reviews and missed the start of the season, much like Uzo did because of injury issues. Well, Uzo got off the bench, but he was a little bit more restricted, let's say.
Uzo to lead.
I think
there we go.
Yeah. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. Again, I think Juan's right on the one point, which is that there are good moments.
Yeah.
There are some very good moments out of this team. The problem more than anything just comes that they're not consistent enough. They're not performing at times for a full 90 minutes. And it's not through lack of effort, I think, that they're not performing for a full 90 minutes. I think it's just still moments of bad chemistry, moments of trying to work through the new game plan, moments of people have been talking in our chat about what are we going to do about Kev Lambert? Is he a defender or is he a midfielder? And that's something that actually came up on in the presser yesterday. And I asked Kev about what that adjustment had been like. He said it had actually been quite difficult for him. He's
for sure.
It's not an easy change to make, but hey, there's still a lot. There's still a lot to see, a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think that one, I don't know. I still like, right, I was originally, the boat of Kev Lambert in the midfield. Then I saw him this season. I think he's a great defender. Listen, it's a guy it's a good problem to have. I still like him back there. I think he adds that solidity to the defense. And again, the fact, maybe this was a bit of a different game for Zambrano, but I liked how Carlos Harvey played yet again. I think he was also a good performer. Yes, didn't win that pen at the end, but I liked his play again. He's all over the place. The man covers a lot of ground. Very physical in there.
Actually, here's one that's interesting. I've seen a few people in the chat speaking about Juan's choice and time of subs. I'm going to ask Max that. What do you think? Did he wait too long? I'm also going to ask the chat here. And chat, please do toss it in there. Let us know what you think. What changes would you have made and when?
Oh, I like that.
Okay, because that's the thing. It's not just about did he wait too long to make the subs. Sometimes it's also working out, well, what subs do you want to make? What changes did need to be made there?
Yeah, I mean, the way I often see it, right, is like you want to place subs along the lines of where you feel you need to shift the energy. And that's like a really blanket statement. So let me elaborate a bit further. If you think your team is, at the 2-0 mark, I would have put someone in maybe like a little bit earlier, just like, hey, the guys are running. They are expending a lot of energy. Maybe put in someone to solidify the midfield just to kind of bootstrap that a bit. He did sub, to his credit, very immediately after both goals for Loyal went in. And that to me is like, that's the low-hanging fruit again of after the momentum swings back into their direction, you need to make a sub, not only to kind of slow the game down and let the guys regroup, but also just to bring on some different energy. So I like that he did that, but I think it's tough. I mean, to me, it's interesting, and I'm not trying to contradict myself, but Manuel Arteaga, after a great performance, if you are going to pull him, I don't get why you're doing it at the 90th minute. I would have, again, like maybe we do whether it's a two-striker system or you just pull him earlier. It's like, hey, Jackson Conway, here's 10 minutes or 15, as opposed to, I just don't get what that's doing at the 90-minute mark, because at that point, Loyal was pressing, and if anything, you're either going to say you're going to get a goal, which you sub him earlier, or, hey, we're going to try to save this draw, and then you bring on a defender. I did not get him bringing on Jackson Conway so late.
Yeah. I will say, actually, there's one thing in there that BJ brings up. I won't second guess the subs, but did wonder if Gabby was minute constrained. Good question, but I will just point out, just so that we are all on the same page here, the reason he missed San Diego was not injury. He missed San Diego because of the birth of his child.
Mazel tov.
So congratulations.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and Thomas, he didn't say fantastic, to be fair. Okay, it was not a Rick one. His actual first words were that he was bothered. He was bothered about the inconsistency that can come from the team sometimes, whereby they're making good moments, but they're not making those moments long enough.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not the same kind of message that we would hear from Rick last year after a result like this. So that's at least one positive, I'd say.
No, that's very true. I do want to see one positive. I do see PHX in there in the chat. Appreciate the nice comment. These two gentlemen have good chemistry. It's my first time watching their post game. All I gotta say is I appreciate it, but keep watching. Well, this is your first time watching. It's your first time watching, but hey, we appreciate you joining. We appreciate everyone who showed up. Again, fantastic atmosphere, and we appreciate our friends at OGs after a game like that. I mean, man, honestly, what can you say other than OGs? A lot going on there. I think I will probably recoup with their nice happy balance, a 1-to-1 THC to CBD ratio to just chill out a bit. Like I said, I had full body feels after this match ended. That'll give me some full body feels afterwards, but the good kind. As always, you can find them at your local dispensary by checking out ogsbrands.com. That is OGEEZ brands.com. You must be 21 years or older to enjoy. Actually, someone recently asked me where you can get OGs, and that's actually a great place to check. Yeah, so do that. And by the way, speaking of friends, we actually have a new partner we're going to announce right now. Bam! We're so excited to welcome our friends at Valley Taproom, especially for those of you on the east side. They are a PHNX Rising exclusive partner. Super excited to work with them. We checked them out on Tuesday, had copious amounts of delicious beverages, especially our friends from Four Peaks.
30 taps.
30 taps. Yeah, 30 taps. Friends on our Four Peaks are there. They have an awesome patio. They have a food menu, but then you could bring your own food there as well.
Wine selection.
We were there for Trivia Tuesday. I did not get any right, but I also did not get any wrong.
May be making an appearance at a Trivia Tuesday in
Twist
the near
his
future.
arm. He can do it.
Not next week, of course. Well, not this coming week, of course, because we got a show.
We have a show then. Yeah.
We wish we were there, but maybe the week after I might be able to swing a little trip there myself.
There you go. And we're also, it's a nice location of, we're going to try to see if we can maybe do a show there down the road, or maybe fan meet and greet, whatever that is.
Well, we had a Danny Trejo beer there.
We did have it. There is a Danny Trejo
beer. So we might have to see if we can get Danny Trejo to drink the Danny Trejo beer.
Just to clarify, it is the actor, Danny Trejo. Just wanted, in case anyone had any
Close enough.
Hey, Danny Trejo beer. We're not going to say which one. It's the actor. But yes, check out our friends at Valley Taproom, again, on the east side. Super great stuff. Very excited to partner with them. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Valley Taproom. And again, check out our Twitter for all the great things that we're going to be doing with them. Keep a lookout, but go hang out with them. Nice place. Donald, shout out Donald. Great guy out there. Appreciate you guys being a part of the PHNX Rising fam. Okay. We'd be absolutely remiss if we did not talk about the stadium experience here. And I think it's something we were talking about it. We've been talking about this we've been talking about this for months, and then it got weeks, and it got days, and we show up, and man, it was such a cool experience where people are tailgating, they are boozing, the ball, kicking the soccer ball around, and I'm like, I did not think I would see something like this growing up in Tucson, where it's like, man, you don't see this. I before FC Tucson days, also, by the way, for anyone asking, but no, it's such a different experience from anything I've really seen on a soccer landscape. And man, shout out y'all. It was just awesome. It was a fun night. Let's not get that twisted. It was a great night.
Yeah, and I think there's something to say here. I know you were going around, Max, speaking to various different fans about things. One guy, Tibu, shout out to Tibu.
Oh my gosh.
Said, and he spoke to you about this on the camera when you asked him what his score prediction was. He spoke to me about it afterwards. He didn't care what the score prediction was.
No.
Being out there, seeing the just group of people that had gathered and what had brought them all together, the fact that there were so many people there who never would have met if it wasn't for this team, if it isn't for this sport and this shared love of this sport. That's what matters, that sense of community that they're building, and that is the important thing. The match result today, they'll work it out later on. That's not a huge problem. The bigger thing is just seeing it all come together.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it was a club record, 10,437. We talked about it on our Thursday show that they moved 600 plus tickets in days leading up to it, that there was standing room. And people say standing room only, literally standing room only at the top of bleachers. And it was amazing. And everyone had an amazing time. Producer Jacob, if you can please roll the Manuel Arteaga goal, because this just beautifully encapsulates energy, right? You see he's competing off of it. He's pumping up the crowd, but South End, the supporters, Banditos, everyone, my word, it was such a. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it, man. And we've been there when the smoke gets off, but this was something different. It was just amazing. I'm getting chills, man, of just being in an atmosphere like that where everyone is going nuts. I'm getting water thrown at me. It's not water, by the way, probably. I don't know.
It's not going to be water on Wednesday.
No, it won't. But, man, it's just incredible. Everyone brought it to the fullest. And, it's cool, too, because we know that the supporters, the diehards, are always going to bring it. But so many people not just took in their first Rising match day. I would reckon there's probably a good handful that might have taken in their first soccer match, that they may not even have known that Rising was a thing before them. And yes, we understand that there are people who have been supporting this team for years and years, but it's just cool to see other people come in, and we hope that that continues throughout the season.
Yeah, and look, there were still kinks to work out today. I know there were very long lines outside.
The queue was long.
There were lots of lines.
Congested, if you
There were
will.
lots of lines for the concessions down here. I know someone mentioned way back at one point in the chat. I'm not going to ask our producer to look back for it because it was quite a way back, but they had to queue 30 minutes for a water. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's still going on. When I came out here and you came out here yesterday, a lot of these areas around the stadium, there was a lot of just trucks everywhere.
Yeah.
To Devon's point here, we've heard multiple reports of that and multiple credible reports that fans were ultimately they weren't checking tickets at some point. I think because the queues got so long. I haven't got any real word on that. We may have to follow up with the club about that later on. But there were credible reports about that. I'll say that much. I don't know, again, if anyone actually got in for free. I'd imagine most people probably already had their tickets. But look, the crowd as a whole, fantastic just to have that many people here for a game like this. And again, there are kinks to work out, but we'll get there.
Yeah. We'll get there. And again, I mean, one more shout out to the South End, right? We heard them banging their drums, doing the chant, everything like that. Have the clip of them just beautiful, man. We're being serenaded with the music and everything that they're doing. So just Jacob, you can roll the clip, the second one with the South End going on. I'm just gonna let it sing for just a hot second. Like, man. Everyone just going nuts. Gotta love it. Something different. It still feels different. I get the results tough. They will come. But now we turn ahead. Now we turn ahead to Open Cup.
Open Cup.
It's Cup season, baby.
Open Cup. Actually, we shouldn't turn too far ahead, though. We should have a look. Little peek, should we, at around the USL? Do you want to hear my...
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just didn't want to look at where we're on the table. No,
I'm not going to look at the table, but do you want me to read the scores out? Let's read the scores.
Also, I do have to shout out, by the way, I don't try not to give this guy credit too often, but you did predict 2-2 earlier in the week. Yeah, and it was tough. It was tough, but you made it there.
I did. Rumor has it that my USL parlay from today also hit. So
yeah. Wait, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out BetMGM promo code PHNX. There we go.
But here we go. Let's look at those scores from around USL Championship. Hartford Athletic 1.
Ooh.
Orange County 1.
Okay.
Loudoun United 0. Colorado Springs Switchbacks 1.
Ooh. Okay.
Indy 11 0.
Okay.
Las Vegas Lights 0.
Nice.
Miami FC 1. Memphis 901 1.
There's a lot of ones in there.
A lot of ones in that one. Detroit City 0. RGV 1.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Rowdies 0. Birmingham Legion 2.
Tampa Bay is imploding.
They really
I mean, they've imploded, I would say.
We've got another implosion later on, though.
No.
Monterey Bay 1. San Antonio 2.
Oh.
Oakland Roots 1. New Mexico United 0.
Okay.
Sacramento Republic 5. Louisville City 0.
Okay.
Now that is the one we have to talk about, surely. What on earth?
Dear gosh.
5-0 to Sacramento.
That's a toughie.
Against Louisville. Louisville losing a game 5-0. I know they've had issues with injuries.
It's a toughie.
But in their last 2 games now, they have played El Paso, they have played Sacramento, and Louisville have scored no goals, and they have conceded 8.
Yeah.
That's not the Louisville we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
That's really not.
Well, yeah, a lot of results around the league. And, it's 3 games in. We're not hitting the panic button. But it is the reality that it does find Phoenix Rising at the bottom of the Western Conference with 2 points. Now, I do have good news and bad news. The good news is there are other teams that have played, 4 matches. And again, Rising has only played 3. Some have played 5. The bad news is Rising is still behind New Mexico United, and they've only played 2 matches. So it all kind of evens out. Lots of time. That's what I got. I'm an optimistic. I'm an optimistic realist. The optimism's kicking in a bit, but there's lots of time, and we'll see if we can bring the home atmosphere like we did again. Loyal's a tough opponent. We'll see what happens. I mean, they're top 4. They're top 4. Like, this isn't a slouch of an opponent. And again, if you're looking at Charleston as well, I mean, they've had some results. They're 5th. They're 5th in the East. So like, it's not like we're losing to Joe Schmo over here. Like, come on, pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, and D-Gal is thinking here about -3 goal difference is the concern. I hear you, but at the same time, that -3 comes from one single game.
It's true.
One single game, and it's the away game against San Diego. The other 2 are draws. So
and again, like we said, like a lot of those were like at least 1 or 2 of those was against the run of play, and they had a good game. It's how the soccer gods they're cruel sometimes. Sometimes the ball does not bounce your way. Sometimes it does. I'm not going to segue into the Open Cup. Is it the Cup?
Let's talk about the Cup.
It's the Cup.
Let's talk about
the Cup. We love the Cup.
It's Cup season. We love the Open Cup.
We are trying to triumph over Greenville. See what I did there, because it's called Greenville Triumph. Yeah, that's that match is at 7:30 back here at PHNX Rising Stadium. Yeah, it's I mean, Greenville Triumph. They've won trophies in the past. Been top of the league. No slouch. Again, it's
they beat Juan Guerra's Oakland team last year.
Cup
in the Open Cup.
Cup is beautiful. The cup is beautiful. The cup giveth, the cup taketh, the cup runneth over, if you will. So we'll see. Listen, I think I'm gonna be very confident. And we have a show on Tuesday, by the way. We have shows on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, as well as the Sunday match as well. I feel confident. I'm gonna go on a limb.
Week.
Yeah, it is a week.
That
is, if I'm not mistaken, I'm no mathematician, but that's 5 shows in 8 days. We have our work cut out for us. I'm going to go on a limb and predict. You take this to the bank, to the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Again, promo code PHNX. PHNX Rising will win against Greenville Triumph SC. I did not get the scoreline right against this game, but I did say Manuel Arteaga was scoring, and those laughed at me. You laughed, you ha-ha'd, you guffawed, you chuckled, but I had that right. So, hey, take that to the bank.
And we will preview that game in much better detail to the question here from PHX in the chat.
Yes.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. on Tuesday. And by the way, and most of our shows, we are always going to let you guys know when our shows are. You can always catch us after every single post-match, and usually on a normal week, next week is not a normal week. We're going to throw that out there. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. as well. Usually we will alert you if to the contrary, but that's where you'll find us next Tuesday at 6 p.m. and then again post-match after Wednesday. Mr. Owen, sir, did we leave anything? Anything else we need to tell the people? While you're pondering, I am going to say shout out the diehards out there. Please become a diehard if you are interested, if you are so inclined, especially those new to you who are like, who the heck are these 2 guys on camera? I want to learn more. I want more insight to us or any of our other PHNX shows where we cover everyone from Suns, Cardinals, Coyotes, Diamondbacks, ASU, U of A, Mercury, everything here in the Valley. You like it? We've got it for you. Head on over to the phnxlocker.com to grab your diehard membership, receive exclusive content, discounts on events, merch. We are dropping some new merch next week. There is a spoiler for you. It's actually not a spoiler. It's a prediction. Here we go. WrestleMania season to those who celebrate. Yes. But yes, all good kinds of stuff there. Become a diehard if you have not yet. I've given you time to think now. What do you got?
Yeah, the one thing I will leave us on, I know we mentioned about the big crowd that was here for the team. I'd also like to just shout out those of you who said hi to us at various times.
Actually, seriously, it was very nice.
It's really good to see you guys back out here again. We've missed you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've been able to see all of you gathered in one place.
I was coming up to people at tailgate. I'm like, how long have we been talking about this? Like, we've been talking about this for months.
Yeah.
And here we are. And everyone who's, always so nice to me in the chat, and like they were nice in person. They're not as nice in the chat, but you guys are very nice in person. I do enjoy the banter, and I do appreciate how kind everyone was. People take pictures with us.
Someone did take a picture.
It happens to you all the time. I'm now famous.
It's the second time I've had it happen this season.
I'm not gonna let it go to my head or anything. Just I'm not an ego guy or anything. But all right, this guy's over it. Yeah, I think that does it.
Max, like, what's going behind us? Please land this plane.
Jacob, producer, is rolling his eyes into the back of his head. But no, thank you guys on the real, everyone, for joining us. Tough result at the end, but honestly, when you look at everything that happened today, really awesome day, really beautiful day, good result overall. San Diego loyal, drawing to Phoenix Rising to catch us on Tuesday at 6 p.m. as we further dive into this match. We preview the Open Cup and everything like that. It's going to be a freaking week next week. So thank you guys for joining us. You can follow me at Max David Simpson. And by the way, and you can follow him at OJ Evans 18.
And you can follow the pod, which is important because there's going to be some video clips going up later tonight at PHNX _ Rising.
Double the underscore, double the fun. And check out both of our Twitters as well as the account. We got a lot of cool content from tailgating, from fans, everything like that. Please check us out. We're looking to do more of this, especially when we come out here.
Make sure when you catch Max on Wednesday, go up and ask him. He owes you $1 beer.
Oh gosh darn it. I thought we were going to get out of here. All right. On that note, let's get the heck out of here. See you guys. Have a great night. Peace.